like, come on, dude. Bro, put it up and cover it, I mean, he's okay, right? Like, he's not off the line. Bro, well, you was one of my bigger things. I definitely adhere to the idea. I'm not probably good at it. But what I don't want is like, I know they don't get a ton of publicity, but I know people who've had it. And I talk to people 6 months later, and they're like, dude, that belongs to everything. And it's like, that's what I didn't want. I was like, that's like fine. But I just don't want to, like, I don't want to have, like, residual effects on that. I mean, yeah. Well, I know. I mean, the major symptoms, but like the, oh my god, I went and walked up my stairs and like I had to stop and talk because like 6 months later, right? Like, that's, no. It's big reality. So I was telling him, it was like, I didn't. We're pretty surprised. Did it already. You want me to feed it now? Like, come on. Like, I don't care. Like, look. I look at it like, I was kind of cool out of the and I was like, I'm not going either. Hey, lad. Go ahead, man. Yes. Okay. Yes. Curtner. Well, right in front of us. We don't get that. And then get your 2-step on. I'm the fool, so I get one on the way. But I do.
Everybody's mic's working? Check. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. I can't guarantee if it's gonna stay on there. 1 2 3. Everybody's working. Bien, bien. ¿Está funcionando bien? ¿El micrófono? ¿Sí? Okay. Pretty good? No more mics, phones?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right, good to go? Hi, thank you everybody for being here. Today we are asking for the public's help for a traffic fatality hit and run that occurred on April 1st. It happened at 11:30 p.m. In that incident, a female adult was actually here in this crosswalk that's to my left, crossing with the signal light. A vehicle came through the intersection and struck the person in the wheelchair. That person fled. We have still not identified them, nor have we located the suspect vehicle. This morning, we sent out a press release that included a stock photo of a vehicle that we believe was involved in that hit-and-run collision, as well as a video clip from the gas station here that's also to my left. This has been a very dangerous intersection this year, as well as the Monterey corridor here in the area. Just an hour before coming out here for this press conference, I was informed of another traffic fatality that occurred right behind me. That was also a hit and run. Fortunately, in that incident, we did locate and arrest the suspect that day. That hit and run occurred on August 4th, and that person passed away yesterday. So far this year, we have had 4 traffic fatalities here at this intersection, and a couple of more down the Monterey corridor as far north as San Jose Avenue. So we really want to make the public aware. It's going to take, not just pedestrians, but motorists as well. You guys can see this is a pretty major thoroughfare here in San Jose. Traffic goes through here, at excessive speed sometimes, but also the other thing we want to bring to light is there's two crosswalks within, a couple hundred feet of each other, and we're often seeing pedestrians cross in between those two crosswalks. So it's going to take a collaborative effort, pedestrians, motorists. I do know we're looking at this intersection to make some improvements to make it a little safer. So with that, again, we're asking for the public's help with this hit and run. Someone's life was taken. We want to find that person. We want to find the vehicle. This is an ongoing investigation. Somebody out there knows something. We are happy to receive information anonymously. If we receive information that leads to an arrest, there's a cash reward available as well. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to City Council Member Maya Esparza.
Thank you. My name is Maya Esparza. I'm the San Jose City Council member for District 7, which is in this intersection. And thank you all for being here today. I'd like to thank Felipa, Vanessa's mother, for her continued and persistent efforts to bring justice for her daughter, Vanessa. On the evening of April 1st, Vanessa Ann Arce was crossing Curtner Avenue along Monterey when she was struck by a vehicle believed to be a Mercedes-Benz. The vehicle fled the scene, leaving Vanessa laying in the street severely injured. Vanessa was transported to Valley Medical Center where she succumbed to the injury caused by this accident, leaving behind 5 children. We stand here today to call for justice for Vanessa. While this terrible tragedy was seemingly an accident, the senseless act of fleeing the scene, leaving Vanessa severely injured in the street, is unconscionable. Words cannot express the pain and anguish felt by Vanessa's family since this tragedy, and while nothing will bring her back, finding the individual responsible will bring justice and closure to her family. Today we plead, we ask, we beg that anyone with any information related to this accident, please come forward. We ask you to please bring justice for Vanessa, for Vanessa's mother, and for Vanessa's 5 children. We ask you to take a brief moment to share this footage released today, review the pictures released today, and bring any information forward to help with this investigation. Additionally, you just heard the statistics about this intersection. I am submitting a memo to the City Council to make some changes specifically to this this intersection and to pilot something the city has not done before, including having cameras in this intersection, so that even though we're going to try some other things as well to prevent these accidents from taking place, that we are able to bring justice for those who are injured. Thank you. And I'd like to point out Felipa, Vanessa's mother, who's right here, and she will be available for interviews. Thank you.
Would she be more comfortable to just do all of us at once? Yeah. We don't have to all do it individually?
It's totally up to her. Yeah. Do you want to?
I mean, just so you don't have to do it 4 or 5 times, it might be easier to just do it once.
Hang on one second. Before I let her go, if you guys have any questions for me, let's get those out of the way.
Yeah.
And then you guys can, she can be available to you guys.
You said there was 4 accidents in this little intersection?
That's correct.
You mentioned the crosswalks. Did all of those hit and run or those accidents happen with the person in the intersection or in the crosswalk, or were they possibly?
Some were out of the crosswalk. That's why I mentioned earlier, this is going to take a collaborative effort, not just of motorists, also making pedestrians aware to use the crosswalk, right? I mean, as you can see behind me, there's 2 crosswalks within a couple hundred feet of each other. Even with the close proximity of those 2 crosswalks, we're still finding people are crossing in between them. I mean, it's just...
The other thing I'll add is it is at night. Many of them are at night. This is a busy, dangerous intersection, whether it's daytime or nighttime. I think we're asking that people also take some extra care, and the city is going to do some things, additional things in this intersection. intersection.
speak to this, what are those things?
So I'm asking. Okay, sorry. So I'm asking for additional homeless outreach. And to do it in the evening, I'm asking for physical barriers. Sometimes people cross outside of the crosswalks. Sometimes they'll cross in the crosswalk, but against the light. And so we need people to wait for lights. So I've asked the Department of Transportation to look at physical barriers. I've asked the Department of Transportation to look at signal timing, synchronizing the crosswalks with the traffic lights, as well as piloting a program to install cameras in this intersection so that we can have some justice and hopefully act as a deterrent for people to think twice about how they drive in this intersection.
What kind of cameras do you have in mind, given that there are cameras in this intersection?
So that's a good question. So the cameras that you see in this intersection are traffic cameras, and they do not record.
So are you thinking like those speed cameras that flash, like Fremont has?
No, I'm looking at recording. So you're thinking of the tickets, the ones that issue tickets. I'm looking at recording. Yes?
Why are people speeding down the street? I don't come down the street very often. I'm not from this area. I notice
Yes, and that's why this area, both Tully and Monterey, are part of the city's Vision Zero project. And the city is building out some improvements along Tully Road. And Monterey is also on the list of arteries in the city to add some safety improvements. I have asked, actually just last week, I have asked the city to provide an equity lens and include all of the Vision Zero projects in our infrastructure bill, American Rescue Plan funding, so that we don't have to wait years to get these projects funded, that we use the opportunities that the federal government is providing us to make our streets safer. I can't hear you. No, so we're looking at other things to slow traffic down, but the reason the barriers are there are so that people don't feel like they can just cross against traffic outside of crosswalks, that it forces people to cross with the light in a crosswalk. I have witnessed myself accidents along this intersection. I'll give you one example. Someone was on a bicycle and thought he could dodge moving traffic coming down Monterey. A bicycle is not going to compete with traffic with a car driving 40 miles an hour down Monterey.
Well, the cameras also have, there's a lot of street racing on Monterey, maybe more on the southern end, but, is that part of these camera systems too? Is hoping to get some of that? So
the street racing cameras are different, but I'll leave the officer to answer that question.
We don't have street racing cameras. So the street racing thing is a whole nother issue, right? So we'll focus on the hit and run. We've received reports of pedestrians being hit at sideshow activity. However, as far as we know, the pedestrians are spectators. You guys see this activity, you see how close people get to them. There's a motto that they use at these sideshows. It's called "Get back or get smacked." So the pedestrians that you're actually hearing about and seeing are spectators / participants at these sideshows. And I will add, many of these aren't even coming to our hospitals. Right? They don't want to report the fact that they were at a sideshow and this is what happened to them.
And we need to focus on the video to help Vanessa's family see justice. And I think it shows how important video is. The police department has been working on this video to get to this point to be able to release it to the public. But if we had cameras here recording it, we could have sought justice for Vanessa a lot sooner than this.
The video that we have of this incident is, I believe, from a surveillance camera from one of the local businesses here. It has been enhanced. We did the best we can with it. Obviously, yes, we would like to have had some better video to perhaps capture a license plate, but that video is embedded in the press release that we released earlier this morning.
Question for the council person. You're talking about these countermeasures, and
you know, Monterey Highway, Capital Expressway, a couple miles down the way, they're by design meant to bring people from disparate points of the city really quickly across the city. I mean, how much...
Capital Expressway is miles down the road. It's a very different... Capital Expressway is different from Monterey and Curtner. And certainly Vanessa wasn't crossing Capital Expressway at night.
What I'm trying to get at is when you talk about some of these measures and how do they sit within the broader kind of design of the city, which is essentially bringing highway speeds onto city streets. That's what we see on Monterey Highway to an extent. Where do you see this fitting within a bigger picture or a bigger vision? In addition to what you're proposing for this intersection, given that the problems are people are coming from other places in the city and using these main thoroughfares at high speeds?
You know, I'll let the police sort of provide their own analysis. Many of the fatalities have been at night, and so I'll let the police analyze the traffic data. In my opinion, because I live in District 7, I drive these streets all the time, every day. In my opinion, that this is not highway traffic at night. Certainly during the daytime, there's a different type of traffic, but at night it's local traffic, and I'd like to see what we can do by putting recordings on either on these cameras or putting up separate cameras that have the ability to record.
Can you reiterate what Zero Vision is?
Vision Zero is a national effort that the city is a part of to make streets safer for pedestrians and bicyclists. Unfortunately, District 7, District 3, and District 6 have at the top of have the most dangerous streets for pedestrians and cyclists in the city, and so that's why the city has done some efforts along other roads like Center Road. Monterey Road is a Vision Zero, so is Tully, sort of Story. So we are doing that work, and that's why I'm trying to get it funded so we don't wait for years and years. And maybe we could have prevented that tragedy. Maybe we could have prevented a future tragedy by doing this work and getting the funding for it sooner.
Are there more traffic fatalities in 2021? Or is it trending that way than other years?
No, it's not higher than any previous years yet. Obviously, we still have several months to go this year, but I will tell you, one traffic death in our city is one too many, right? Whatever we can do to minimize that number, prevent it from continuing to happen, we're certainly going to look at all those things and do what we can as well. Anything else? Okay, if anybody wants Spanish, let us know. We'll do it off to the side before we leave. And I'll let Vanessa's mom come up, and then we'll do the Spanish after, okay?
Is this safer for her to come up here?
Yeah. Hey,